Good evening and welcome to Game 2 of the IFAF Women's European Championships of 2019 here from Leeds in the Great Britain country that we call home here. I'm Matt Walker and I'm joined by Carl Walkinshaw. Evening, Carl.
Evening, good to see you, Matt. This is an exciting evening.
Well, it's after the initial opening game this afternoon, which finished 50 to 0, I believe, in favour of Finland over Austria. We welcome the host nation, the GB Lions, who this evening will be taking on Sweden. We've just had the national anthems here in Leeds, and the game will be underway shortly after the coin toss. Do you know much about either of these outfits this afternoon, Carl?
I've met a lot of the GB Lions. I'm very excited to see them out on the field for the first time, and they're going to want to open their account well. They're obviously the home team. This is the first time the tournament's ever been played in the UK, and so there's a lot of excitement out there. If you look on social media, there's all sorts of teams tweeting. We just had F.A. Abada just sent a tweet, from Carolina. So there's a lot of support for these girls, and there's a lot of excitement about seeing what they can do. And I think there's high expectations as well amongst the American football community within GB, and I'm a bit excited as well, Matt. Obviously unbiased commentary throughout.
I quite agree, Carl. Obviously you can see on screen there number 16, probably the most famous of the British players, is Phoebe Schechter, with her NFL links to the Buffalo Bills, and more recently just been named as a coach on the GB Juniors program, I believe. On screen, if you'd like to get in touch with us this evening, tell us where you're watching from, tell us who you're supporting. Are you rooting for the Lions? Are you rooting for the Swedish women? You can get involved with the show there at hashtag WEC Leeds 2019. We'd love to hear from you in here what you're thinking of the coverage and also of the game. The format, while we're getting underway here, Carl, let's run through a little bit of the format of how this particular competition works this week.
Yeah, so there's 4 teams in the competition, so that's Finland and Austria and Great Britain and Sweden. They're all going to play each other, and the team that wins the most points at the end of that competition comes out top of the table. It's crowned European champions of IFAF. So today it's obviously kicking off. We've had the game between Finland and Austria earlier today, which ended 50-0. We can talk a little bit about that.
Ladies,
today we've got Great Britain and Sweden now, and then on Wednesday,
congratulations on making it
2
to the
more
European
games.
Championship. Let's make it a great game. Sweden. So play to win, keep it safe and keep it fair. As the visiting team, you can make the call on the coin toss. This is heads, this is heads, and this is tails. This is heads, and this is tails. You can make a call. Tails is called. It is tails. Sweden won the toss and deferred to the second half. What do you want? You want to receive, probably? You want to receive? What side do you want to defend? Okay, you go stand there, please. Great Britain will receive. Ladies, shake hands, good game.
So Sweden there won the toss and deferred, and Phoebe Schechter there signalled to the officials that they wanted the ball to be in the hands of GB's offence to begin with. So it will be the GB offence who take the field first at the start of this one, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see. That's an interesting decision by Sweden early, isn't it, to defer? I wonder what they want to bring their defence out and make a statement early on, try and stop this GB Lions attack. So we'll have to see how that plays out and whether that plays into Great Britain's advantage or theirs. I mean, you would like to get off to a good start, wouldn't you, if you're GB offence? But then again, you're the home nation. There's a lot of nerves. You know, you're coming out and maybe you do put your defence on the field. So not a bad call by the Swedes. Let's see how it plays out.
Being a defensive coordinator yourself, Carl, would you prefer your unit to be on the field first and set the tone for your team, or you wanted the offence to do their thing first?
Depends on the game and the weather conditions. The weather conditions are really good. If they were bad weather conditions, always put your defence out first, get that good field position. But these are good weather conditions, so we'll see how it goes. Here we go.
And we are underway here in Leeds, as it's a short kick, and actually it hits one of the GB backs rather, who manages then to fall on to secure possession. It's going to be GB ball on their own 42-yard line. From the 27 there, Siobhan Walker, who manages from the London Warriors, who manages to secure possession for Britain.
Yeah, good job, Siobhan, because that was not easy. Took a bobbly bounce and hit another player. So there's Jim Messenger there, the coach of head coach of GB, just giving the girls some encouragement before they go out.
It's going to be Sydney Green, quarterback for the Lions, who are going to open things up. Last time we here at Onside Productions covered a Great Britain Lions game, down in Worcester, and they took on Spain and were convincing winners there a couple of years back. So here we go, 1st and 10 for Sydney Green, and she drops back to pass on first down, and it's blade blown dead straight away. As a flag on the play for the first initial play.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that's a delay of game against the British Lions. So that's going to march them back 5 yards and bring up 1st and 15.
Yeah, they were very tight on those penalties earlier on in the game against Finland and Austria, so we'll see how that plays out.
So here goes Green again. This time she hands the ball off, and the running back breaks one tackle and gains decent yardage on that initial run. And that's Antoinette Morgan from the Birmingham Lions with the first carry.
Yeah, Sweden linebacker Gabriella Bronegard making that tackle, so that's a nice gain on first down.
Nice high tempo offense here, no huddle being employed by Green and the Lions offense. So it's on 2nd and 10, and looks like it might be a free play here. As she tries to get the ball up, she goes upstairs, but it's way out of the reach of her intended receiver, who is Ollie Davis.
She took a hell of a blow as well, did Green, on that play. Even though she got the ball off, she sacrificed her body to get the ball off, because the flag was obviously thrown and some of the offensive linemen didn't move as quickly as they might have wanted to.
Apologies, I read that as number 7, the intended receiver. It was indeed number 2, Emma Taylor, who Green was trying to get that ball to on the free play. As the officials discuss what is going to be the outcome. Let's have a listen.
Offside, defense, number 95, 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
So it is encroachment against the defence, which will bring up an automatic first down.
Yeah, so first possession for GB. They got to the 50-yard line, hopefully get into Swedish territory.
So 4 receivers once again for Green, 2 split high to her left, and there's another delay. And this is not the most auspicious start unless it's an official's timeout. And they're now having a discussion. Not really what the British offence would want to get into rhythm early, Cole.
No, and this is the thing, isn't it? This is why the Swedes deferred, because it puts you in this position where you potentially there could be these penalties because you're nervous.
Next down will be 2nd down.
It is. And what they were doing there, I think at the last encroachment call, the official signalled first down, and actually it does remain 2nd down. You can see our scoreboard operator is ahead of the game here. So 2nd and 3 it is, as Green drops back, looks to her left and flies the ball out to the flats, but that's over the head of the intended receiver, Ruth Matter.
Yeah, just flew on her a little bit, didn't it, Green, there, and then that's that early nerves just to settle down and get into the rhythm of the offence.
Ruth Matter as well, we may well call her name a number of times. When we saw her last play with onside coverage, she decimated the Spanish opposition. A real dangerous weapon, both out of the slot but also out of the backfield as well. So 3rd and 2.
Fullback in here for the first time in the spread offence.
Let's see what Green and that offence dial up here, if they can convert. And it is Matter who takes the handoff. She's got a little seam over the right hand side, and she's got first down yardage, turns the corner, stays in bound, and gets all the way to the Sweden 40-yard line, where it'll be Great Britain first down.
What a beautiful little run by Ruth Matter. Good job. She comes, not only does she get the first down, but she's into Swedish territory, and that was some nice blocking up front. Good job by the fullback, and we are marching.
And that no huddle offence, all the offence looking to the sideline to Coach Messenger, who as well as the head coach is the offensive coordinator. So let's see on first down whether they keep it in Matter's hands or whether they try and go to the air. So here we go, Green using that cadence, and it is Matter once again up the middle, just off the centre, and she picks up good yardage, close to first down yardage on that first down carry. It'll be 2nd and inches.
Yeah, she's got quick little feet running up, marching up the middle there, and good change of direction, good change of speed, and she's definitely causing these Swedish linebackers difficulties.
Ollie Davis, the receiver, just running out to the slot position on Sydney Green's left. Seemed to be limping a little after she was involved with blocking for Matter on that last play. So here's
Sweden
2nd and 1.
Blitz, Matt.
Absolutely. See whether they do come, and they do indeed come, and Matter dances her way close, but I think she's going to be marked short. Didn't really get any opening there from that offensive line. Yeah,
not a lot there for her. It was Johanna Aspenberg who was came busting through, and obviously they doubled up on those A-gaps, did the Swedes, to make sure that GB didn't have a chance to go anywhere. We'll see what the call is, see whether we got it.
So it's a long time getting these plays in, this no huddle offence. It's And obviously they're not huddling up, but it's giving the Swedish defence time to regroup and actually see if they can key on any of the calls as Green goes under centre for this third down snap. And you wonder whether it's going to be a little keeper, but no. Matter again bounces off to her left. She's got first down this time and she's away. She's out to the 25, up to the 20, inside the 10, where she's snagged and dragged out of bounds at around about the 7-yard line. First and goal, the 12-yard line. First and 10, Great Britain.
Yeah, there is a flag down there, Matt. That was disappointing if that one's going to come back, because that was a great little run off to the left-hand side, and it means that it puts us in a great position. The Swedes got caught out. They were waiting for that short run, and once Ruth Matta's feet got moving and she was able to escape that second line of defence, she was off to the races.
Here's the call.
Holding by the offense, number 27, 10-yard penalty, still third down.
So it is a holding call against the offence, which is why Matta was able to spring loose quite so easily. So from 3rd and 1, it becomes 3rd and 11. Yeah,
Siobhan Walker just got caught out there. She's the receiver at the top of the screen now, and I think she got caught holding. And receivers have to make blocks like that to try and get to break these running backs, but unfortunately just a bit too much on that one.
So from 3rd and 1, it now becomes a much more difficult 3rd and 11, and they give Matta the task, and Matta finds space, and she's running laterally at the minute, now turns upfield, bounces inside the 25, and gets all the way to the 23, but that is going to be short of first down yardage, and it'll be interesting.
She's keeping these 3 linebackers busy. That was Tova Hendengren who made the tackle on that one. And so far, this defensive line, they're playing a 4-man front, are Sweden, but they're not having any joy against this GB offensive line. GB offensive line doing a good job of ensuring that the running backs are getting to that second level at least.
So Matta did pick up enough there for first down yardage, so a good conversion on 3rd and 11. Looked for a time that she was running more laterally than vertically, and Matta gets the ball again, and she manages to pick up close to 3-4 yards. So still keeping this offense rolling.
Yeah, nice gap again off the left-hand side, and again, we're having our way at the moment. The GB offensive line, they're a big unit, and they're having their way with these Swedes at the moment. Good job by them.
So 2nd and 6, maybe a long 7. Looking at where that first down marker is at the top of your screen there. But still, positive yardage. Offense, like you say, wearing down this Sweden defense early doors, and psychologically, if this can continue as they fake the jet sweep, and this time Green keeps the ball, and Green gets positive yardage, but only a couple, which will bring up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Johanna Aspenberg was equal to that one. Managed to get a good read and stayed in her gap and made the tackle on Green. But I'm still keeping the ball moving, Matt. You're not going to get those big chunk yardage every time, and you've got to put some variance in. You can't. They will start to key Matter if we just keep handing the ball off to her. So, good job by Green to keep the variation going. 3rd down.
So here we go. There's that fullback in again. It's a heavy set to the right this time for Green, Matter, and that offense on 3rd and 5. And there's a pitch to the right, and Matter really does do well to avoid that rushing D end, but she's only going to get a couple again on that. It's going to bring up 4th down and around 4.
Yeah, you called it, Matt. I mean, that was such a great avoidance of that initial tackle. Let's look at the replay here. You can see number 5 comes in and should make the tackle there, but Matter, quick feet, goes back inside, and then number 39 has to come across to make the covering tackle. So we'll see whether that was enough, but it's not going to be. It's 4th down, but we're going for it. Let's go, GB. Let's see what we've got on 4th down.
And there's that nice impartial commentary as Green fakes, and then she does get a little bit of a seam, and that little fake works, and she does pick up first down yardage outside the 10-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Lions.
Great job by GB, and that's good job by Green, and good job by the offensive line. Let's have a look here. You can see the push. You can see the Swedes trying to fill these gaps. They know it's coming that side, but look at the blocks there by 61 and 75 as they open it up for Green to get through. Excellent job by those girls.
But as you said earlier, the Swedish girls there keen on Matter, expecting Matter to be the go-to player on that particular down, on big 4th down. Indeed, Green keeps it and just keeps it long enough to be able to wrong foot the defender and bring up 1st and 10 on the 12-yard line of the Swedes. This time going to the air, and she's going to the corner, and she's in and out of the hands of Ollie Davis, the Hertfordshire Tornado.
Yeah, it's such a difficult pass to catch, that one. It comes direct over your head if you have a look at the replay. She's just in that slot position, gets good separation from a defender, but it's coming right over the top of her head. You've got to swivel all the way back. She does a good job trying to get her body around, but just not enough.
Rookie Jalen Hurd for the 49ers caught one like that against Dallas the other night, and obviously trying to emulate a quality rookie there for the 49ers. Anyway, it's 2nd and 10 as Green this time pitches out. Oh, it's a hospital pitch there, and read immediately by number 95 for the Swedes.
She's having a good game, is Johanna Aspenberg. We've called her name 3 times, and she's a monster there on that right-hand side of the Swedish defence, and she's playing really well. She's so far the standout of this defensive line for the Swedes.
So, I've mentioned it before in commentary, but that bend it, don't break philosophy seems to be what the Swedes are employing right now. They've given some yardage up, and now they're stiffening close to the goal line.
Everything gets tighter in that red zone. Trips to the top of your screen for the first time.
3rd and 12. Green looks this time to her right, and that is completed. Threaded the eye of the needle there, and Emma Taylor is the recipient from the Leeds Chargers, and she gets up bouncing. It's going to be close to a first down, but it's not quite enough, and there's no reason to believe. That's a great grab in traffic.
Great grab and great throw as well. Green just hung that out on a line straight into the chest of Emma Taylor. So a nice link up there. It looks like we're going to go for it again. Why not? Let's go.
4th and 2, we think, upcoming. Will Green keep again, or does Mata get it? This time it's Mata, and she's in trouble, and she's snagged, and that's going to be turnover on downs. And Sweden, although they get the ball for their first possession very close to their own goal line, they'll be pleased with the fact that they've managed to hold the red-shirted Lions out of the end zone.
Yeah, that's a good play by the Swedes. It's exactly when they needed it, because at 4th down, and they looked like we were driving really well. They went, I think, just to that play on 4th down before. They went to the same play again on 4th down, but this time the Swedes were ready for it, and Mata couldn't escape that initial tackler. So it was a nice play by the Swedes.
So here we go then. That Swedish offense will take the field for the first time, led by quarterback Linda Johansson. Johansson with Anna Hedström in the backfield, and 4 receivers led by Hannah Karlsson, amongst others. Let's see whether or not the GB defense, led by Phoebe Schechter, can put any pressure close to their own goal line here on Johansson. Sensibly, oh, what a penetrative hit that was. Number 64, straight through. Amy Cottingham of the Birmingham Lions sniffed that one out and managed to tackle the running back. And I think that was Hedström for a loss.
That's going to fire the GB Lions defense up. Nice job by these Birmingham Lions. Well coached, obviously, but good job by Cottingham to get in there. First play, she'll be pleased with that, pushing them back.
So a loss of a yard on a play, 2nd and 11, and this time a little bit more protection there for Johansson. 2 backs, 1 either side of her in that pistol formation, and this time it's a fake one way and handed off to number 84, who's going laterally, and she does pick up positive yardage before she's pushed out of bounds, and that is Karen Ullen.
Yeah, Callie Parnell, the Birmingham Lions again for the linebacker. You see just pursuing here. It looks like you have a chance to safety if 55 can get and make a tackle, but do manage to find the edge with a little block from the Swedish wide receiver, and in the end they just had to get her out of bounds. But that was close by Rachel Moody. She just couldn't track her down.
Initial 3rd down then upcoming, and it's going to be 3rd and around about 5. 3rd and 4, looking where the ball is and where that down marker is. So Johansson going to the air this time, flings one out to the flats, and it's caught by that same player who had the big run, and she's on her feet up to the 40, to the 45, to midfield, and she could go all the way at the 30, the 25, the 20, the 10, the 5, and from end zone to end zone, touchdown Sweden, Karen Ullen.
Karen Ullen is also their punter and their kick returner, and she has speed in space, and that's what's bit them. So GB Lions, despite that great drive and the great field position, they just lost track of Karen Ullen in the flat, and she managed to turn on the afterburners and goes all the way for 6, and that's a terrible early blow for the GB hopes.
Wow, just out of nowhere, and that ball from Johansson was fired just in the right spot for Ullen to be able to take in her stride, turn the corner, beat the initial defender, and then run away from that Lions defence. Let's see, it's the same player, Ullen, who's responsible for the extra point duties. It's a bobbled snap, and now they're in trouble and sacked by the one and only Phoebe Schechter, who comes steaming through, taking down Johansson. So it remains Sweden 6, Great Britain 0.
It was only a matter of time before Phoebe put a mark on the game, and we want to see more from her because we really needed that.
So while they're ready for kickoff. Here's that touchdown again. Watch the zip on the ball. There's a sidearm Bernie Kosar type throw from back in the 80s. And she manages to make number 13 miss initially, who's Kaylee Parnell. And from that point onwards, there is just no catching her as much as those 3 trailing defenders might. Ullen has the speed to take it all the way, close to 90 yards for the opening score of the game.
Yeah, just disappointing from a GB perspective, but well done to Sweden. I mean, they were backed up in their own end zone. To call that play into the flat, it's a high percentage completion, but because of Karen's speed, Ullen's able to pull away from everyone. So what could have been just a 6-7 yard gain turns into a 80-yard touchdown run.
Enjoy the Bernie Kosar reference there, Cole?
I'm too young for that.
Yeah, you're right, you are. And it's a very short kick again, and a one-hopper taken at the 27-yard line, and it's returned around about 8 yards, past the 35 up to about the 37, where GB will take over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the advantage of quick score offense. Get to come out and do what they were doing before. They managed to drive down the field. It was only when we got within the 15-yard line that we began to stall and Sweden really tightened up. So when we're playing in space, we've seen some good running attack. We've seen a pass completion already. And as long as Sydney can get her poise and get her nerves sorted out, there's no reason to be nervous now. She's done really well on that first series. Then I'm hoping we can get back to the red zone.
So here we go, first down, GB, just outside their own 35-yard line. Green, another low snap, and that's been a key. Mata with those quick feet manages to take the ball off Green, dance her way through that hole up the middle, and pick up close to 6 yards.
Yeah, Mata on the run, Johanna Aspenberg on the tackle again. It's those two that are dominating these sort of series when the offense is coming up against the Swedish defense. But Mata really is a weapon, isn't she? She's quick little feet, and we want to see her in that space and see what she can do when she gets in space.
See if that centre can get this snap a little higher for Green. And no, it's quite low again, but once again, Mata this time to the left, dances and jukes around. She's still going sideways, manages to turn upfield now, picks up positive yardage again, and is going to be, I think, just short of first down yardage. It'll be 3rd and 1.
That's effort and commitment to getting to that edge and finding the corner. And she did find it, and hopefully this is enough for the first down, but there is a flag on the field.
And you know as well as I do, when there's a flag on the field in that position, there's only one likely outcome. And there it is. Holding against the offense.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was Siobhan again out on that edge. They seem to be very tight on those blocks by these receivers.
So still in the first quarter here in Leeds, and let's listen to the call.
Holding. Offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah, it was Lauren Druitt that time that got caught out. And again, it's a receiver on the edge just trying to free their running back up. And they have to try and make those blocks. And the referees are obviously keen to ensure that they're legal.
Shift on that defensive line there, trying to confuse the GB offensive line. And in motion, fakes a jet sweep. And Green up the middle again. And Green's got some good room and lowers her shoulder, gets up close to first down yardage. It's going to be, this time, 3rd and a more manageable 1 yard to go for the Brits.
Yeah, you got that triple option run threat there, haven't you? You got Mata, and then you got someone in motion coming across, and then you got Green as well who can retain it on that one. They go through the whole sequence, and it just is enough to distract that defensive line and create that space for Green to bust one up the middle. That's going to bring up 3rd and 2.
That might be the end of the first quarter, and indeed it is. So here in Leeds, in the United Kingdom, in Game 2 of the IFAF Women's European Championship 2019, we have a scoreline of the visiting Swedes 6 and the hometown Great Britain Lions 0. But those Lions are marching. There's a little bit of a debate, actually, even though that ball has been held up to signal the end of the first quarter. The players aren't changing ends. So wait and see what the outcome of this one might be. Yes, now things are changing around. So we move into the second quarter here. Sum up that first period's gone really quick, Carl, to be fair.
Yeah, that one long drive from GB all the way down to the 6-yard line. 4th down, tried to get in, were denied the opportunity to get in. Sweden really played tough in their own red zone. And then you had the breakout run, didn't you, from Karen Ullen for 80 yards, and that's been the story. Here's the run. You can see the throw into the flats, a nice throw, and the defender's just trailing, can't get hold of it, and then the pursuit angles are all wrong for GB because of Karen Allen's speed. It's Karen Allen's speed that takes away the angle. Back to the live action.
Who go low snap again, and that low snap means that Ollie Davis didn't really have any chance. Penetration through the offensive line by the Swedes, and that play was doomed right from the start.
Yeah, really good play by the Swedish defender, who's just blitzing straight into that hole. That's number 2. We'll get a name for you in a second on that, but nice play by the Swedes. And they're obviously now blitzing straight into that B gap, which is where they want to run this end around.
And that was 3rd and 2, so now the punt team do enter the fray for the first time for the Lions. 4th and 7 from 3rd and 2. Punting from her own 33-yard line. See if whether or not they can turn that advantage. That's a good snap there, and it's number 22 in it. Decent kick, and it slices off the side of her foot, and that's Nancy Stone, who manages to get the ball over halfway, but good starting field position for the Swedes.
Yeah, the drive stalled, and GB won't be pleased with that, but you know, the Swedes are playing well. It was a nice blitz on first down to put them in their own backfield, and that made that series entirely difficult. So let's see how these defenders can, if they can control this speed of Karen Allen and get her block and get her covered. They were playing well on the defensive line, but we need that penetration from them, and we need something special from them now.
So here we go. First down, Sweden on their 2nd possession of the evening. Johansson with 2 receivers either side, and she drops back to pass, and she zips that ball once again, and that's nearly picked off. Phoebe Schechter there making the tackle, timed to perfection, as you would expect from the caliber of player that Phoebe Schechter is, and the energy that Phoebe brings to this lineup is just phenomenal.
Yeah, that was Moa Hansen. They're trying to get the ball to Moa Hansen. It was a similar play that we saw that was busted, but that time you had coverage all the way around. So Phoebe underneath, and then you had a defender over the top, and there was no way that was going to be completed. Good job, GB.
So it's 2nd and 10 then. Remember, they scored that long touchdown on 3rd and 7 last time, so they're not shy about these long yardage situations, and that time they fake the jet sweep, and it is that read option, and Johansson chooses to keep hold of the football that time, but there's nothing doing up the middle for her.
Yeah, and that's what we like to see. That's what we expect to see from our GB linebackers, all over that one, and absolutely no chance for the quarterback to make any yards.
So last time out, as I mentioned a minute ago, GB thought they'd done well to hold Sweden to 3rd and 7, and then the wheels came off. But this time, 3rd and 10, a slightly different prospect. But let's see how confident.
So where is Karen Allen? Look at the top of your screen, Trips. There's that threat, that number 84.
She could easily win that same little pattern to the out pattern to the flats again, and there she is. But this time comes the other way, and that is caught. It's a nice catch off her shoelaces by number 82. That's Emma Sancio.
Yeah, it was a nice catch, and it shows that they're not just going to go. I mean, the quarterback initially looked towards Karen Allen's side, just looking off those defenders, and then went back to the right-hand side and managed to get the completion.
It brings up 4th down, and interestingly, on 4th down, and it's only 4th and 3 on midfield, at midfield rather. And interestingly, for me, the momentum is very much with Sweden at the minute, although they're struggling with substitutions at this point.
Yeah, I'd watch for a fake here if I was GB. Just keep your eye on this now.
So 4th and 3. Whoa, it's a high snap. They won't be faking this one anymore, and the ball is up and away. And it is fielded by Matter. Ruth Matter's got a little bit of space here. Now, whether or not she can create that into anything, then she steps inside and she stays on her feet and gets run out of bounds just past the 40-yard line. So positive return there, and the 3rd GB possession of the afternoon coming up.
Yeah, every time she touches the ball, she's electrifying, isn't she, Ruth Matter? Love watching her run, and there's another example of it there on the punt return.
So this is a bit of a question for you that I've not preempted, and understandably, my knowledge of the ladies' game isn't necessarily as well developed as it should be. As these 4 teams, is there a sort of pecking order coming in? Are we aware of a favourite for this foursome this week?
Finland came out very strong today, you have to say, after that performance that they had this afternoon. They've gone very much to the top. I mean, they look very, very strong against Austria to put up 50, but GB are no slouches, and neither is this Sweden team. And I think there's high expectations for GB as well.
Getting the ball in the hands of Siobhan Walker as soon as they can, but she's snagged after a pickup of 2, but that is 2, so that's always positive. Anything down, you can pick anything up on first down, and you're going the right side of the chains, then you've got to be happy.
The thing you saw with Finland this afternoon was the size of their offensive line. They really bullied the Austrians, and they have this great running back, number 34, who has size and speed. She's going to be a threat to any team.
So 2nd and 8 for receivers for Sydney Green, the Birmingham Lion. Looks to her right and she goes up top, and that's and that's Ollie Davis again. And for a minute Ollie Davis didn't know where the ball was, but then she seemed to locate it and seemed to have an opportunity to reel it in, and it went through her hands. Another difficult catch over her shoulder, but one you'd expect to make.
Yeah, I don't know whether the sun distracted her a little bit as she turned over her right hand shoulder, and just that sun in your eyes that surprises you because you're actually in shade, and you just lose sight of the football. But that's a couple of chances that she's had to have an opportunity to make something happen.
Need to talk to you about shadows and sunlight shortly, Carl, because looking at those shadows there, I'm not sure the sun was the issue, but that's very charitable of you, as this time Green looks to her left and she's got a receiver, and that's in and out of the hands of Lauren Druitt this time. But there is a flag.
Yeah, there were 3 defenders around her there. I don't know whether there was some contact before, just as the ball left the quarterback's hands.
This is in the vicinity of pass interference.
Yeah.
Whether offensive or defensive. We'll get a call from the officials shortly as they discuss that. So so Finland look the class outfit at the moment. Let's hear from our official.
Pass interference, defense number 33, spot of the foul, automatic first down.
So that is pass interference by Jenny Gramenius. So that'll be an automatic first down, and it's good to see that Britain are being positive and going to the air rather than just relying on their running backs. And indeed, Ruth Matter not in this series. It's Siobhan Walker who is getting the bulk of the workload this series.
Trips to the top again, and looks like one of these linebackers is going to blitz, and it just shows and backs off.
Although,
that's dangerous, because that linebacker just was exactly going to that flat. So Sweden showing blitz, dropping to the flat, and Green was off on that one.
But still, 4 defensive linemen making it difficult for the 5 offensive linemen of the Brits. As you mentioned about that Finnish offensive line earlier on today, that is really going to give these guys time. And like I say, when it's only a 4-player rush and your 5 offensive linemen can't handle it, that's got to start being a little worrying. This time Walker does get the carry, and it's a nice block, and she picks up close to first down yardage. It's going to bring up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, she tends to be more of a north-south runner, doesn't she, Siobhan Walker, from the London Warriors, where she plays her football, and they tend to be pretty much no-nonsense, straight at you. So nice run to open her account.
You'd hope on 3rd and 1 that this one could be converted now into Sweden territory, close to the 35-yard line. 8:29 and counting left in this second period here up in Leeds. Let's see what Green the offense dial up. Twins either side once again with Walker to her right. It's another low snap, and this time, that didn't ever look like it was going to work. And whether or not that was a busted play or whether that was a designed QB keep, but whatever it was, it didn't work.
They're crowding that side, and the left side there, and Jenneke Hendeman, who's number 34 there on the screen, you can see where she's lining up, right in that B gap. So as they hand the ball off, this play has very little chance of success, because they've already got 3 defenders right where Green wants to run the football.
And it did look like it was a designed play, the way that Walker had gone and the way Green wasn't looking around particularly. It looked like a designed QB keep, but no dice. So 4th down and 4, and the punt unit will look to pin the Swedes back if they can and hope for a better kick. And this another slice kick, but it takes a Britain bounce ever so slightly inside the 20-yard line down to the 17, and it'll be Sweden ball once again. 6-0 here in Leeds to Sweden.
This is a tight encounter, isn't it? This is the sort of encounter that you get oftentimes in the opening game, which is neither team really being dominant so far. We've just had that one big play, but without that big play, it's been, cat and mouse, and neither of these teams really showing their dominance over the other as yet.
So 1st down for Johansson and the Sweden offense. pinned back, but they were pinned back on their first possession inside their own 5-yard line and managed to find pay dirt on that drive very quickly. So Johansson this time hands the ball off, and it is snagged. Number 53. I have a name for 53 here on my roster, unfortunately. See if we can get that for you at all, but nevertheless, fantastic play there. She's in the centre of your screen. Went straight through, managed to sniff out that running back and tackled for a loss on first down.
Yeah, and that's from the defensive line position. They've played well so far. They've been a couple of times they've been able to exploit gaps in this Sweden offensive line. And they're a big unit as well. Those two tackles inside their 53 and 64. They're big, strong, and they can get to these ball carriers.
Nice fast feet there on first down. The runner this time, number 22, I believe. Don't appear to have a name for 22 for the Swedes. Once again, if we can bring that to you, we will as we go. But nice dancing, patient run there, looking for a gap in that offensive line. Manages to find one, picks up good yardage.
So that was Zaya Minman on the run there, number 22 for Sweden. And yeah, I mean, managed to avoid those initial big tackles in the middle there. And as a result, found some space.
3rd and 6 though. Chance for Britain to force the Swedes to go 3 and out once again. Johansson drops back again, got plenty of time, zips that ball out, and it is caught. And it's caught in acres of space, and that's going to be first down territory and more, close to the 40-yard line. Bumped out of bounds, in comes that late flag, and that is going to be a late hit, unnecessary roughness, personal foul, call you what you will.
Yeah, that's such a shame. Anna Hedström on that, and that was a design screen pass. So whenever you see those defensive linemen running in space like that and just have a clear run at the quarterback, screen. You want them to kind of turn around and go and recognise that and chase the runner down.
After the play was over,
runner in space.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 12, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
And there we go. That yardage is going to be tagged on to the end of the run. Free yardage for the Swedish offence, and just like that, they're in British territory.
Yeah, 30-yard net gain off that play, both the screen and then the penalty on top. So really damaging to the GB on this drive.
Frustrations coming out there from the British defence. They've got to just keep their cool, do what they do best. Play sensible football and try and eliminate those rash decisions, as frustrated as they may be so far. Johansson again, ball's handed off once again to Hedström, and Hedström is going laterally, and she doesn't make any ground. And who's that there making the tackle for a loss?
Yeah, Phoebe you could watch Phoebe track that from, I don't know whether we'll get a replay maybe, but Phoebe just tracked that one all the way from that inside linebacker position. She beat her defender, got to the runner, and just made a great tackle as well. Good job, Phoebe.
What Britain tend to be doing at the moment on first and second down, they're really limiting the opportunities and the yardage for the Swedes, but their third down efficiency at the moment for the girls in yellow is fantastic. They're calling the right plays to the right players against a defense that they like. Let's see on 2nd and 12 whether they can be any more successful. The ball is flipped out this side, and there are tacklers there, and
that's good gang tackling by GB to get that defender down in space. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders all the way to the ball, and that's good.
Ollie Davis, Kaylee Parnell, and Phoebe Schechter, 3 of the 4. And now we've got another 3rd and long. And ordinarily you'd say that the Brits are in the box seat on 3rd and 12, but that hasn't been the case so far.
These receivers are dangerous, and this quarterback's smart, and she's throwing into space. She hasn't made a dumb decision as yet, and so she's playing well.
Pressure here from the Brits, Carl?
I don't think you're going to see a lot of pressure on this play. You're going to see maybe hang back and play some good zone and get some some extra bodies around these receivers.
Trips again to the top of your screen, and there's coming down. They've got plenty of time, and that one is picked off, and it is picked off by Phoebe Schechter. We're going to call her name quite a lot. We have done already, and I'm sure we will continue to shortly.
She is a superstar. We told you before the game there was a lot of noise about her, and this is why. She makes plays when it counts. And you can see here she drops back. She's smart, drops back into her zone, recognises the play quickly, knows that there's a crossing. There's going to be a crossing receiver behind her, gets depth, and manages to be in the right position to make the play. And that's the sort of key play that we need, and that's from the captain of this team. Well done, Phoebe.
And actually, if you look at that, the receiver had actually beaten Phoebe. And so you have to ask Johansson, is that ball slightly behind a receiver to enable Phoebe to turn around and make that grab? And it was a great hands grab. It's a daft thing to say, a hands grab, but a lot of the time the ball comes into bodies of DBs and safeties and they kind of catch it on their chest, but that one was a real receiver type grab as Mata gets things going, and she's got a big hole out to the left, and she's at the 50, she's at the 40, she steps inside and gets all the way down to the 30-yard line, no flags, and a big turn of momentum in this one.
Yeah, and she's been threatening that the whole game, she's been running inside, and then she finds some space. So this starts inside, and then she gets she starts inside, goes for that B gap, and then she hits the jets right there into the width of the field. And look at this little step back here to get extra yards. Just stops and gets extra yards, doesn't go out of bounds. That's the sort of runner you like to see.
Ollie Davis with a great block there on the linebacker to spring Ruth Mata free. And like you say, that little step back at the end allowed Mata to pick up 6 yards. Our cameraman's followed the wrong person, and because Green, so that's a great fake on that one, because faked out our cameraman. Sure, I'm not going to name. He does such a good job usually, doesn't he? I'm not going to name Alex. You know,
don't say it's Alex. Well, he'll be so embarrassed that he's missed that one.
I won't tell everybody that it's Alex. All right. Well, just between me and you, he does such a good job normally, but that time, unfortunately, Alex missed it. You know.
Sometimes the hand is quicker than the eye, and on that time it was. Well done, Sydney Green, on that.
Bengals fan Alex, they're not used to watching Andy Dalton be so convincing with his play action, his fakes. This time Mata does get, look at that little step. She's so tiny and sometimes elusive in the fact that those D linemen can't even spot where she's going. But obviously saw that the design play wasn't working. I don't think it was designed to be a counter play initially, although it looked like it could have been the way that she stepped back immediately after stepping off to the left. But nevertheless, 3rd and 3 upcoming.
Yeah, now our hope is that GB are going to do enough to convert on this 3rd down and put us in a position where we can get in that red zone and get the score.
So I think that was the 2-minute warning, the signal the referee was signalling. Indeed, as you can see from our clock there. So, goodness me, from a 7 o'clock kickoff, we're approaching half-time, and it's only 25-8 here in the UK. So, 3rd and 3, really important at the end of this drive if the Brits can go in at least tied into half-time. Let's see what the Swedes have to say about that. Ball high through the hands of her intended receiver, Emma Taylor, that time, and didn't really help. Sydney Green didn't help her receiver that much.
But that's just great defense as well. Amanda Usland, the number 20, just played excellent defense on that, and she was right there on the slant pattern. It was almost like she knew where it was being. She was playing that ball like a receiver. That was just good defense. 4th down, Matt.
This is a big play in the grand scheme of things here, not only due to the fact that it's close to half-time, but equally in terms of that momentum. Momentum is such a big deal in these games. In the British game yesterday, East Kilbride Pirates and the Sandwell Steelers. East Kilbride were over the top, and it's just out of the reach of Ollie Davis again on 4th down, and that will be a turnover here. Don't know if you saw that scoreline yesterday, Sandwell and East Kilbride. East Kilbride were 20-0 ahead. Sandwell ended up coming back winning 21-20.
I know. I did see that. It was an exciting game. Some exciting games going on. That play on 4th down, they will want that back because that is a critical down. Previously, they've been handing the ball off to Ruth Matten. The second time they tried that, obviously Ruth was stopped in the backfield. But that play there, they will want that one back. I think Jim's going to be disappointed with the outcome of that one.
So, with 1:47 left and the quick strike ability of the Swedes, this 6-0 lead could easily extend before half-time. Let's see what Johansson and the Swedish offense can muster up. Flinged out, little bubble screen, that's dropped. Oh, and they're calling it incomplete, which probably is a good thing for the Swedes, because if it hadn't have been, number 1, it was there live for the Brits, and number 2, it would have been a loss of yardage. But I think that was a completed pass, you know.
Yeah, it looked completed to me, and I don't know whether we've got, we've just seen the replay. I don't know whether that's a football move. It looked like a football move to me. That's Rachel Moody putting the pressure on there from the Edinburgh Wolves. Did a really good job.
Let's see if before we get this next play. No, we'll maybe come back to it shortly if we can. But it seemed to me, as it did to you, it looked like she did tuck that ball away. Yeah, it did very much. I've just seen the replay again here in in our booth as Johansson drops back on second down, zips that ball across the middle again, and incomplete. Number 34 for the Lions, Afia Law from the Birmingham Lions, makes sure that receiver not only doesn't come up with the football, she almost doesn't come up with her head.
Yeah, that's what you want to see from your linebackers, isn't it? Good physical football. You're not going to catch the ball in my zone, thank you very much. Not without being punished, anyway.
So 3rd and 10. Again, there's only been 11 seconds taken off the clock so far from those 2 incompletions. So if Britain can force another incompletion, you'd think actually the Swedes may well run this just to get rid of the clock. And they don't. They go to the air again, out to the flats, and this time it is complete. And it's that receiver once again who managed to score big early doors, Karen Ullen. But this time she is stopped by a host of Lions, a pack of Lions, if you will, Carl.
A pride of Lions.
Oh, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what you meant. Anyway, that was a pride of Lions.
Isn't that what I said?
And it was a beautiful sight to see them all converging on Ullen that time. They've clearly got her number now and they know where she is.
Timeout Great Britain. Our scoreboard operator behind us is eagerly just anticipating that timeout to be taken. So 3rd and 10 becomes 4th down and 3. You would expect Sweden to punt from here, which will give Sydney Green and the offence one more shot in this second period.
And the question then is, where's our deep threat going to come from? Where's it going to come from? We've tried a couple of times to get the ball over the top of these Swedes without much luck, to be honest. They play well as defenders and they're always got their body end zone side, which makes it very difficult to get behind them. We've not seen our own receivers get into that sort of space as yet, so it'll be interesting to see if we do get the ball back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's still 4th and 3. This timeout presumably has been taken for a reason, and the Swedes are having a good conflab on the sideline there, so we'll see what they come out with.
It was a British timeout, but obviously it's given the Swedes opportunity to talk through what they are going to do. Are they going to catch the Brits sleeping, expecting to punt, and then, because look who's punting again, it's the danger player. It's Karen Ullen who's back there to punt for the Swedes, and she could easily tuck this ball and sneak out to those 3 yards, but no, the ball goes off her boots. It's a line drive and it's fielded by the danger player for the Brits, Mata, who goes out to the 50, to the 40, to the 30. She's got a little bit of a room. She cuts back at the 25, still strong on her legs. Inside the 20, 59 seconds left in the second period, and the Brits are in business inside the 20.
Ruth Mata, you superstar, you. Look at this return. It's a decent kick from Ullen. Mata makes a great catch right there and then off to the races. Nice initial block which gives her some space, and then she finds her way down the sideline. She's ever so good on the sideline. Watch her use her feet here. Back inside, but misses a defender and then drives hard.
Illegal blocking
to end the run.
Return team number 14. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Once again, that's disappointing for the Brits. A big play negated from some illegal procedure on the run back. I was about to say, what from a special teams coordinator perspective for the Swedes, the only problem with that kick was the fact that it basically was too low, too flat, too low. It didn't give the coverage team chance to get down and put pressure on Mata, and it gave Mata an opportunity to field that ball in space and take off. But for all her efforts, instead of being inside the Swedish 20, the Brits find themselves inside their own 40-yard line with 58 seconds remaining in this first half here up in Leeds.
Yeah, this refereeing crew not doing us any favours here. I mean, we've had a number of holding calls, haven't we, on big plays, and if that had been successful, that had taken us right back. That's almost like a turnover, that punt return.
Now again, I wouldn't blame the officiating crew. It's not them that aren't doing us a favour. It's up top. Oh, that's a great grab. That is a fantastic grab by Walker. Pickup of 12 yards, first down, clock is running.
Yeah, beautiful grab, right over his shoulder, look, and here it is, and there, look, almost one-handed. She actually get 2 hands to it. Fantastic body control, 2 defenders around her, and that's what we need. Good job, Walker.
Well, thank you. Oh, that Walker, yeah. From the slot position there, she just ran a simple flag pattern. Ball was over the top.
Great
she didn't
Britain.
have to go close to the ground to haul it in, but good hand skills. Second timeout called by the British Lions, and there's some confusion there. Yasmin Kazal from the Hertfordshire Cheetahs, number 70 in the centre of your screen, almost signalling to the sidelines to say, come on, what's going on? We've got 30 seconds left here. Call something in. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, this is not the hurry up that you're looking for, is it? You want to really get that momentum going and get shifting. But yeah, these delays not helping.
Ruth Lewis on one knee at the bottom of your screen there, not really part of the huddle. Obviously, she's looking to the sideline for her, actually being substituted at that point on trots Robin Stewart for the Leeds Chargers. Full-back position. Matt is in the backfield again this time. Walker, who's just made that great grab down to the bottom of your screen. And then over comes Ollie Davis to join Walker. So twins to the left-hand side with Stewart as the full-back there. Heavy set to the left, and Mata takes it over to the left. There's a little gap, and she dances through, picks up first down yardage, but that clock is ticking. Britain only have one timeout left, and you feel like they need to use it here.
It's a decent play if you to get that sort of chunk yardage, but you've got to move quickly now.
Brings up first down, Great Britain.
So first down upcoming for the Lions. Still got time as the ball was set for first down. This time Mata runs off to the right side. Nice block on the edge. Releases her, and she's up this time to the 30-yard line. And now we're inside 20 seconds to go. And you'd think they have to take their final timeout here.
Well, look at the scoreline. So you've got 6-0. 2 field goals will tie this game. So maybe they're going to rely on their kicker and bring it out if Ruth can't get in. But they're going to call a timeout here and have a think about what they want to do with these last 14 seconds.
We know that the engine room matter, but can you, with 14 seconds left, afford
third and final
to call the
timeout.
run? There's 30 yards to pay dirt. You can't gamble on Mata managing, number one, to find those 30 yards on one play, and also to find the sideline.
The Swedes are going to play the pass, Matt. There's no doubt about it. They can afford to have Mata gain a few yards, but what they can't have is anything that's going to go end zone side of them with. What can you get? Maybe 2, maybe 3 plays if you're very quick.
Sure.
So, you know, the Swedes are going to play defense and put their people as close to the end zone as they can to avoid any last second tying up of this game. So what do? Well, if Mata's got quick enough feet to hand the ball off, and then if you get her into space, potentially she runs through a couple of defenders.
Would you be thinking Coach Messenger's maybe calling 2 plays in here at least? Because obviously their no huddle strategy at the moment, it's not really been a hurry reference because they've been stood there waiting for plays to come in.
They've got a number of different options, and Green has to make reads on those triple option run plays, so she can make reads at the line of scrimmage. We'll see what the Swedes give us.
Easy for you to say, Carl, on 2nd and 1. 14 seconds left in this first half here in Leeds in the 2019 IFAF Women's European Championships as Green surveys the field. Another low snap, which doesn't help. She has to put her head down. She goes to the corner, and that one's picked off at the 10-yard line, and that's going to snuff out any hope as Phoebe Schechter battles and tries to strip the ball off the defender, but doesn't manage to do so, and that is the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, and it's the Swedes, was what we said before the play. The Swedes are going to line all their players up around the 5-yard line, and they just unfortunately threw the ball into space. I don't know, Matt, whether it was the sun. You're the sun and the shadow expert. You'll have to let me know. But it's disappointing because there was at least 3 points on the board there for GB. However, all is not lost. It's just 6-0, folks. Don't lose your rag.
Ellen Persson there with the interception for the Swedes. And to be honest, it doesn't look like there were any receivers for Britain in the vicinity at all, but like you say, a very tight game here. That one big play really is the only difference. One lapse in concentration. You mentioned about bad angles of tackling maybe on that Karen Ullin long 90-yard score earlier in the first quarter, and before, in fact, that is going to be half-time as Johansson kneels the quarter out.
That's
so
the end of the second
in
quarter.
Leeds at the IFAF Women's European Championship for 2019. This is game 2 out of 6 this week. We have a half-time score of Great Britain 0 and Sweden 6. We're going to go away to wet our whistle. We'll be back with you shortly. Join us for more live action in the second half.
Great Britain 0, Sweden 6. Don't forget the bar is open if you want to get some refreshments. And Football America have their mobile shop in the bar area also.
Welcome back to Leeds with our half-time score of Sweden 6 and the Great Britain Lions 0. What do you make of that first half then, Cole?
It was one play, wasn't it? It was an 88-yard touchdown run. The difference between those two sides, and Karen Ullin's speed has been the difference so far. But you know, the stars have come out to play. We've seen some great running from Ruth. We've seen some great catches from Walker. We've seen Phoebe Schechter make an interception. The stars have come out for GB. It's just not breaking our way at the moment, and it's just that one broken coverage that makes a difference between these two teams. But it's a great opener. I mean, there's a great atmosphere. We can hear the drums from the Swedes. We've got lots of people here watching. It's a great start to the tournament. And if you're a neutral, then it's a fantastic game. And it's still great if you're a GB supporter, because it's 6-0 down, and we want to see GB come back. We want to see them tested early on in the competition, because we know that they've been working hard and they've got that resilience to come out and do something good in the second half.
We mentioned in first half commentary the fact that the GB Lions were putting Sweden in difficult positions on third and long on a number of occasions, and third down really has been the difference. The GB Lions not being able to stop those Swedes on third down, and then converting that big touchdown came on a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Linda Johansson is a smart, wily quarterback. She's good at running the ball. She manages the game well, and except that one mistake when Schechter, and you might even say it is a mistake, Schechter just made a really good play on the ball. But other than that interception, Linda Johansson's been pretty flawless, and it shows up in those third down statistics where she's been able to move the ball around. She's not just focusing on Ullin, the player that got the touchdown. She's going to different receivers. She's throwing the ball out into the flats. There was that one little play, wasn't there, where we thought that the ball might have been completed and then fumbled, or it might have been a back pass, which would have obviously been a live ball. But other than that, she's been very impressive.
She's been made to look good, I think, by our offensive coordinator as well. She's completing high percentage passes, like you said, out to the flats, putting the ball into spaces in front of receivers, not necessarily having to do too much with the ball through defenders and threading needles across the middle, like you say, on that one attempt that she did. Phoebe Schechter managed to pick her off. But like you say, she's managing the game well, and that 6-0 score line is a testament to that.
Their strengths are the screen passes, whether it's out wide to the receiver, or they also got to their running back. Anna Hedstrom made a good play, and then we had that 15-yard penalty on top. GB did well, actually, to halt that drive and that was when Phoebe made the interception. So, Sweden have some talent, and they're also getting a lot of holding calls.
I was going to say, you could argue that Britain have been their own worst enemy at times as well. Big plays for Ruth Matter, called back from holds, and then there was that frustrating personal foul on the sideline when I think it was off a punt return, and it was a good return back, and then just some afters which tagged on another 15 yards. And it's kind of frustrating from a Britain performance, in that they're by no means out of this game, but it's
the margins between holding as well on that edge are so small. Like some referees will call it, some won't. And where we're getting caught out is on the edge, where we're trying to help our running back Ruth find that edge, and you have to have those blocks on the edge, and the receivers have to go in hard, and that's what they're doing. Unfortunately, we've been caught out a couple of times on those, but I think that will pay dividends later on when we get Ruth out into space on the sideline, and you'll see those blocks coming into fruition. The flags won't be thrown. I'm sure Jim Messenger's having a word and saying, look, what's your hand placement?
Yeah.
Are you outside of the pads? Are you showing the referee your hands? Get them inside. Let's tuck them away. You're still doing great on the blocks, but we just need to be a little bit tighter in the way we control that.
So it's a beautiful evening here in Leeds. You can see the shadows of the stand casting across the 40-yard line there to the top left of your screen. The story of the game so far, the Swedes won the toss and elected to wait until the second half to receive the football. The Brits therefore chose to go on offense to begin with, and that opening drive for the Brits was actually quite impressive. A little bit stop-started to begin with as a delay of game penalty, and then once again a hold, and they marched backwards, and 1 step forward, 2 steps back type thing. But they did manage to get all the way from their own 30-yard line, very close to, well, it was actually inside the 5.
Yeah, it was an impressive start to the drive. Once Sydney Green got her poise and got her sense of the occasion, and the nerves calmed down a bit, we looked very strong. Certainly between the 50 and the sort of 15-yard line, that was a nice series of plays there where Ruth was making good yards running up the middle, and we made it all the way down to the 15-yard line. Unfortunately, that's where it stalled, and Sweden began to play better on defensive line. What you noticed in that early drive was just the dominance that our offensive line had over the Swedes. And it was only later on, actually, that the Swedes began to make some adjustments, and they've done better making the adjustments, which would demonstrate you've got a national coaching staff.
Absolutely.
And they're going to make adjustments. It's going to go back and forth. You can't just stay with the same thing each time. And then as the competition goes on through the week, it's going to be even more important that the coaches are putting extra things in, things that other teams haven't seen.
Sure.
And so the cat and mouse game of coaching has started now, and it's fascinating to watch.
And as you mentioned, even though you might be getting closer and closer to the opponent's end zone, once you get inside that 20-yard line, space is at a premium. and it becomes much more difficult for backs to find holes and receivers to find gaps, and it proved that way with Sweden forcing Great Britain to a 3-and-out. In fact, they stopped them on downs on that first drive, and then 3 plays later went 80 yards on that Karen Ullen pass out to the flat, and that gives us our 6-0 scoreline. Other than that, it's been very much back and forth. Some good offense from both units, some good defense from both units, questionable special teams. Some of the punts we've seen from the Brits haven't been overly effective, but nevertheless, it gives us this exciting anything can happen 6-0 scoreline. Sweden will get the ball at the beginning of the second half, and you hope from a British perspective that they can once again stifle them from not going any further ahead to keep this one tight.
Yeah, we've seen some good play by the Swedish defence, and what they tended to do towards the end of that second quarter, from the second quarter onwards, was they were blitzing the B gaps more, and they were putting defenders in the places where GB were trying to get the ball in those B gaps, and as a result, they managed to stop them on fourth down, which is where they halted that initial drive, and then you had the Karen Ullen touchdown off the back of that, and she's got some speed. That's going to be something which we need to watch in the second half as well. Just make sure we do have defenders around her. Whenever she's caught the ball subsequent to that touchdown, we've had gang tackling, we've had more than one player around her, and that's what we need to do. And we're also respecting her speed by just standing off slightly on those screen passes, so she's catching the ball and then we're gang tackling to take her down. So that's been better from the defenders of GB.
1 turnover per team so far. The first interception by Phoebe Schechter, then followed by the interception by Ellen Persson, which snuffed out GB's hope of tying this one up at the end of the first half. We've got, as we've mentioned earlier on, we've got these 2 games today. We've had Finland against Austria earlier on at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Finland running out 50-3 winners in that one. This is game 2, Great Britain against Sweden. Then on Wednesday, we have 2 more games. The fixtures on Wednesday that we've got for you. 3 o'clock is Finland against Sweden, and then 7 o'clock here again in Leeds is Great Britain versus Austria, and then the games conclude on Saturday the 17th of August. Once again a 3 o'clock kickoff between Sweden and Austria, and a 7 o'clock kickoff between Great Britain versus Finland. And then as we said at the beginning of this broadcast, whoever ends up with the most victories, with the most points, will be crowned IFAF Women's European Champions of 2019. So a nice little format this week, Cole.
It is. It's condensed, isn't it? It's 4 teams. It's manageable. You're showing the best talent from across Europe in terms of the ladies' game. And I don't know whether, in terms of when they looked at the schedule, whether they thought, all right, well, Great Britain, the home nation, versus Finland, 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. If those 2 teams are close, that's going to be a hell of an encounter. We know Finland were dominant today over the Austrians, and I'm not sure the Austrians gave the best showing of themselves. They clearly didn't, 50-0 down. But that will be a hell of an encounter if Great Britain can make their way through the other teams, Sweden and Austria, and get to a point where they're competing for that championship against Finland. That's going to be one to put in your diary, Matt.
Absolutely. Later on this week, we've got all sorts of things coming up with On-Side Productions. We'll try and tell you a little bit about those later if we're able to. But here from Leeds, the John Charles Centre for Sport, on this sunny August evening, we have a half-time scoreline of Sweden 6 and Great Britain 0. We're going to be back for second half action very shortly. You can see the teams just beginning their second half preparations. We will be back, as I say, shortly. So don't go away, stick the kettle on, get yourself ready for second half action, which should be a corker here. We'll be back with you very soon.
John Heinchens and his officiating crew are retaking the field as the two sides make their final preparations for the second half. Half-time score of Great Britain 0, Sweden 6. 24 minutes of action still left to go, and it's opening game for these two teams.
So welcome back here to Sir John Charles, or the John Charles, I've just knighted him. John Charles Centre for Sport here up in Leeds. You can see our officials have retaken the field, so we are very close to second half action. We've been having a glance on the Twitter sphere over half time. There's lots of you joining us from all over Europe, so good to have you with us. Please let us know if you are watching. The hashtag is WEC Leeds 2019. If you'd like to get in touch, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you're enjoying the game, who you're rooting for. There we go, up on your screen there. WEC Leeds 2019. We'd love to hear from you and be able to give you some shout outs from wherever the IFAF nation you are watching from.
I'd be interested for some Swedes, because my commentary has been so unbiased.
It has
so
been
far that we probably need some balance.
I sometimes forget you're British. It's been that unbiased.
There's an interesting on Twitter as well. If you're interested, Double Coverage, our friends at Double Coverage have put a little bit of their own analysis up there, which is good. Which is a good read. Have a look at that. They did a brilliant site as well, and there's a great website that Double Coverage put up. It's wecleeds2019.co.uk. You can find out all about the tournament and the games, and they're doing a great job and supporting our ladies in this endeavour.
So as well as this tournament going on this week for the women of Europe in American football terms, we've also got the domestic playoffs continuing, and this Sunday the 18th of August Onside Productions will be in two locations actually. For the first one in Tamworth, for the Tamworth Phoenix taking on the London Blitz in the playoff game. Scheduled kickoff we believe is 2 p.m. for that one, but also the Brit Bowl adult flag finals are taking place on Sunday, and that's up in Manchester. And Onside Productions Saturday and Sunday, I've just been whispered to on, Onside Productions will be bringing that to you Saturday and Sunday. So plenty of football coming to you over the airwaves from Onside Production as the Brits get ready for second half action. Jane Meadows ready in to kick off, and the second half is underway, and it's a bit of a squib kick there, and it goes through one of the up backs. And then it's fielded by a Swede at her own 32, and she gets up to the 38-yard line where things will take over, and that's Anna Hedstrom who has fielded that one. Here we go then, Cole.
Yeah, Amanda Humphrey, Kaylee Parnell coming in on the tackle for that one. So effective, not such an effective kick in the end, because it managed to find its way all the way through to the returner, who they have back there, Anna Hedstrom, who we know is a good runner. We saw her in the first half, especially impressive on that little screenplay she ran. So let's see whether our GB defence can stop this Sweden offence.
Start of the second half with breaks. You see which coaches have made which adjustments and who's are going to be more effective. And this time it's a direct snap to that touchdown score.
That's great discipline from the GB defence. I love this sort of play, because what you had was a cutback block from the Swedes coming through. But what we did on the edge there enabled Phoebe Schechter again to track the runner. The runner's forced back inside, and Phoebe's right in the alley to make a play. It's good coaching. It's just good defence all round, and that ends up in a loss. You can see it here. So watch the cutback block. So you can see number 8 comes in motion. Just going to try and seal the edge to ensure that the runner gets a block. But 55 is out there quickly. We string it out. There's the edge, and Phoebe's there to hit it straight in the alley. Nice replay, good camera work, and good
great
play.
analysis, Carl, on 2nd and 13, as this time Johansson goes up top and finds a receiver on a deep slant pattern, number 81. And that's Hannah Carlson with the reception, and on 2nd and 13 she's going to be just short of first down yardage. So instead of third and long even, that Sweden have been used to, look at the time that Johansson's got there. Nice pass. And
yeah, Linda Johansson's been impressive. She's a tall quarterback, and she's got a good arm and able to get some sting on the ball, especially on those slants. And we're having to respect it because of that long touchdown. So we're staying off slightly as GB, and maybe it's time for Jim to say, come on, we're going to have to attack some of these balls while they're running around.
Annie Young was attacking that last play on 3rd and 2 now, and the official comes running in, and that's timeout called by the Swedes. So obviously somebody didn't see something
Sweden.
Didn't like. It looks like it came from the side.
First timeout.
So the coach calling timeout there. And apologies, I think I just talked all over the top of the official. Apologies for that, Mr. Official.
Yeah, 3rd and 2, why not take the early timeout? I mean, Sweden will want to they want to come out. The reason they deferred is because they thought GB will have nerves on their first drive. We want to come out. If we've got the lead at the beginning of the second half, we can really stamp our authority on this game. So this is a critical drive. So you might be asking yourself the question, well, why are the Swedes taking the timeout so early in the half? This is why. It's a critical drive for them. They want to put the game away early because it builds momentum and they can take control of it later on.
We've also seen the evidence that really the difference between this is one play. That is the difference between these two teams at the moment, and therefore, like you say, every play vital. Even though in the great tapestry of all 4 quarters, it may not seem important, being able to convert on 3rd down here and keep the chains moving is keeping that momentum on the Swedish side. And they definitely have that after that late interception at the end of the first half. So here we go, 3rd and 2, big play for both units. Schechter comes with threatening blitz at the end there, and that's going to be a free play by the looks of things. And Johansson goes up top, and it's in and out of their hands. That could be pass interference. It's definitely going to be encroachment, you would have thought. So let's have a listen in a second. Our official is about to come in, just discussing various bits and bobs, but I think we all know the outcome of this one. Let's have a listen.
Offside. Defense number 64. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That was Amy Cottingham guilty of jumping early, and that will be first down.
She was guilty, but that was just a smart play by Linda Johansson because she used her voice to draw those defenders offside. She saw the blitz and she was able to change her cadence, and it drew those defenders offside because she knew they wanted to come after it. Good job by the Swedes.
9:37 in the 3rd period. 6-0 Sweden. IFAF Women's European Championship. And 52 on. In fact, that was quite smart there from 52. Not got a name for 52. Oh, we have, sorry, Kiara Pennington from the Birmingham Lions.
Yeah.
She sniffed out that the screenplay was about to develop. And
it's such a rare skill you see. Good job, Clara, because you saw it. Kiara, sorry, because if it is Kiara,
I think it is. Might even be Kiara.
Because you, whenever a defender, we said it earlier, didn't we? Whenever a defender's running in space like that, you have to ask yourself the question: hang on a minute, no one's blocking me. So you get your head on a swivel. It's exactly what she did, and I think they coached that at halftime and said, look, we're going to have to watch out for these screens. Good job, Judy. Good adjustment.
Look at the Swedes again, though, spreading things out. 2 receivers for the top, although one Karen Ullen comes in motion now, and Ullen is the intended receiver, and they do find her. A good open field tackle there by Annie Young once again. Number 80 was the first to get there. But positive yardage for the Swedes, trying to get it to their playmaker.
It's a nice design play that time because they roll out the quarterback, gets you their athletic ability. They roll Karen Ullen out as well, going to that same right-hand side. It's a nice, easy throw for a right-hand quarterback to make because they're rolling to the right, and it does pick up those yardages despite the good tackle. So 3rd and 5, and this is where they've been so effective, and this is where GB need to bring something more.
So let's see if the GB defence can solidify on this one. They do need that football back. Plenty of time left, and like we said, it's only a 1-score game. And actually, if Great Britain can score a TD and put on the extra point, all of a sudden they're taking the lead.
We've got a tweet to shout out number 80, Annie Young from Emma Arnold. We just shouted her out. Here we go, 3rd down.
3rd down and 5, and that's going to be close. And yeah, that tweet you were just reading, Anna Young, also known as Bambi, apparently, playing cornerback today. So proud of her. Hope the team can make the second half comeback. And that's from Emma and Michael. Thanks for your input, guys.
So good job from GB on 3rd down. So where we are now, we're in the 40 yards. So this is the danger zone in terms of a fake punt or something, because there's nothing to lose here for the Swedes, and they want to make an impact on this opening drive. Who have you got back there? You've got Karen Ullen, and to her right, you've got the quarterback, Linda Johansson.
Sure.
We have to be smart here.
Disciplined, and it does go to Ullen, and Ullen does. There you go, you called it, Carl. And she looks like she's going to have enough room, goes round Schechter, and she does pick up that first down yardage. Great call, Coach Walkinshaw.
Yeah, you can just feel it sometimes that that everything kind of sets itself up that way, and I'm sure they'd recognise it. That Sweden do a really good job here, actually, just blocking the edge for Karin Ullen, and I think it's an option. Like Karin has a look at it and says, "Have I got space to make the first down or not?" And if she does, then she's going to go for it. And we got caught napping a little bit on that one.
We're sitting in the booth here with your head coach from the Nottingham Trent Renegades. Do you need a new special teams coordinator at all? You're all good? You're okay, right, so your defensive role is safe, Carl.
He knows I wouldn't take it.
So here we go, 1st and 10, Sweden inside the 30-yard line of the Brits at their 27. The ball is faked one way and then given once again to Hedstrom. Hedstrom bounces outside to the left, picks up good yardage, maybe 4 or 5 on the carry. They'll bring up 2nd and maybe, in fact, more than 4 or 5. It's going to bring up 2nd and 3, in fact.
Yeah, it's getting dangerous now, this drive. GB obviously know that. They feel that themselves. And the momentum that you get from a 4th down conversion on a fake punt also gives you that sense of kind of, it's inevitable we're going to get into the end zone. GB need to do something to disrupt that pattern. Let's see what they can do on 2nd and 3.
Again, it's that it'll take the wind out of the sails as well of the GB girls. So 2 backs this time, and this time it's a triple option again, and Johansson keeps it, and she goes up the middle for a pickup of enough for a first down, I believe, and that will move the chains by the looks of things. It does indeed. First down on the 15-yard line of the Brits, and yes, as you mentioned earlier, this now becomes dangerous in such a tight game, going 2 scores ahead. Well, it's going to be difficult to come back from, apart from Mata. And maybe Siobhan Walker in the first half. There's not been a lot else of optimism for this British offence.
Yeah, we've got to have that. We've got to find some kind of way to get a deep threat if we do go down here. But let's not count our chickens. We're on the 15-yard line. This is where Sweden really tightened up. So let's see whether GB can do the same as the handoff goes to the running back. And that's good defence on the right-hand side there.
Stacked it up very, very nicely.
Delta Napuna from the London Warriors coming through and chased that runner down. Missed him the first time, went back and managed to get her down the second time round. Good job.
Delta ends up with the football as well, but obviously the runner was deemed to have already been tackled before Delta managed to strip that away. So it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Swedes. But it doesn't matter whether it's 2nd and short, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, 4th. These Swedes have found the key to unlock this British defence so far this afternoon.
Well, it means that we can play a little bit closer to these receivers, so it means we can challenge for some of these footballs in the air, and you can see Phoebe's now going out to that slot receiver as well, so we can man up a little better. We just need to watch the run in the middle.
And there's that jet sweep this time with 3 receivers over to that left-hand side, and there's Schechter coming out of nowhere like a rocket to take out the runner, number 82 for Sweden. That was Emma Sancio. We called her name briefly in the first half, and she gets a little bit of action in the beginning of this second half.
Yeah, smart play by Sweden. They put 3 receivers out to that side, and they put a lady in motion, and then they manage to find the edge, and they have 3 receivers out there blocking for her. So 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5, and from a GB perspective, you've got to think their tails will be up, but they will be once bitten, twice shy by the fact that these Swedes don't really look at the down and distance. They just run the plays that they know are effective, and they know to get the ball to their playmakers. And Johansson goes up top again, and that looks like it's out of the reach of the intended receiver, number 10.
Yeah, there was some good pressure there. There was some good pressure. If you watch the pressure coming from the left-hand side, just there is enough to make sure that Linda Johansson was out there trying to receive the pass actually on that one, and they put a receiver in at quarterback. So switcheroo on 3rd and 5, and they're going to go for it on 4th down. But good job with the pressure from GB on that. That's what we need. If quarterback's going to drop back, let's get some pressure on him straight away.
Particularly
crucial down, Matt.
And look again though, we're going Wildcat again. We've got
Karin Ullen.
Ullen in the backfield, no quarterback, and this time it's headed right. You've got to get this pursuit right if we can. Ullen makes a move.
That's close.
That is going to be very, very close. But in fact, I think they're going to come up short, because I remember it was first down on the 15-yard line, and she's not near to the 5, so that should be turnover on downs.
Yeah, you watch the pursuit from the GB Lions here. Number 5 busting through, makes Karin Ullen have to go wide. Then you've got number 5 a little knock, and then 12 comes in, Amanda Humphrey from Hertfordshire Tornadoes, to bring her down, and I'm hoping...
British offence taking the field. Seeing that one again, Phoebe Schechter fought off 3 blocks, and although wasn't the first player there to make the tackle, she was influential in standing up Karen Ullen to make sure she didn't get any more forward momentum and fall forwards. So here we go. It's like deja vu all over again. Long drive from the Swedes to start the half, and Mata gets the ball, and she's got space.
Lockers in front.
Thank you, and she gets out to the 20. First down.
Nice play to start the drive. It's good to see GB with the ball, even on a 5-yard line, but you want to play it safe. And there's the blockers out in front. No hold this time, as Mata works those feet in between those blocks to get those extra yards.
What audiences like, a coordinated commentary is what they like. Anyway, first down, Britain. Positive start to this second period for them. Second half for them. As Green looks around, takes the time. Much better snap. And there's Mata again. Starts to her left, bounces off to the right. Patient. Picks up 5 yards. Maybe 6. Going to be 2nd and 4. Your turn, Carl.
Yeah, it was a good play, Matt. All right, let's look at the replay. This is a counter. So you've got blocks going in one direction and then Mata going in the other. And it confused the Swedish offence enough to get the plays, to get the yards that we need.
Back up to the line of scrimmage again. The tempo seems a little better this time from the Brits in this second half. Don't appear to be waiting around for these plays to be called in quite like they were in the first half. So here goes Green again. Got a little bit of time. Zips the ball across the middle. It's in and out of the hands of Walker that time on a slant. And maybe that one should have been hauled in.
Yeah, you feel, I mean, you can't see, we've got the camera position, you can't see what's happening that front side. But again, the defender's in a good position. We didn't see whether they managed to get an arm on the football, but I think Walker would have liked to have held on to that one. Anyway, I like this hurry up. I like the look of this, making yards.
3rd and 5, another important play here, particularly as they're only on their own 25-yard line. Sweden showing blitz again. Here it comes. And Mata is going to get a gap because of that blitz. And she's on her feet at the 40. She's at the 50, the 40, the 30. She's still on her feet at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Britain. And just like that, we are all tied up.
Go on, Ruth Mata. What about that?
Can you see any flags?
Not from where I am.
I can't see any from where I'm sitting from my position in the commentary booth. So that is going to be, and here we go. And I say,
watch the blocks here, because they miss her first time, and then once she gets into space, one person to beat, and then she's gone. And no one's going to catch her there, and she's got that great sprinting form. They're trying to catch her, but they're not going to, and that ties up this game. And how crucial was the 4th down stop? But it's almost a mirror of what we saw in the first half reverse, isn't it?
Took the words out of my mouth. Long drive from the Sweden offence to open the half, and then 3 plays, and that's going to be it's going to be obviously a flag. Let's have a listen in a second. We're just discussing that, but like you say, 3 plays from the Britain offence and pay dirt again. It's just a mirror image, which goes to show why that was so important for the Swedes to call that timeout when we did. Let's listen to our officiating crew for this one.
Full start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still the try.
So there we go. False start against the offense, and that is Amber Norbury who's guilty of the false start.
Yeah, she wouldn't have wanted to do that because now this kick's a little bit more difficult. This is an absolutely critical kick. This gives us that 1-point lead. This game has been so tight. We want this to go over.
And who has the kicking responsibilities? It is Nancy Stone. Oh, it's a bad snap again, but she's got a chance, and it is up, but it hasn't got the legs. It's skewed off to the left as well. It may well have even been blocked. Again, not a great snap, but it means that we are all tied up here on Monday evening here in Leeds. Great Britain 6, Sweden 6, and it's all to play for.
Yeah, I mean, that run from from Ruth, she's been electrifying all the way through, and but that run was just phenomenal once she broke through that initial line of scrimmage. And we hear that Ruth's been playing in Boston's, won a championship, so you can check that out, Ruth Mata. And there's lots of tweets coming in as well. Just a spectacular run on the opening game. She's really emerged. She was already a superstar, but she's emerging now. More people are getting a chance to have a look at her.
Once again, with this game tied up at 6 apiece, please get in touch with us if you can. We'd love to hear from you. On our screen shortly, there it is. Producer Steve with his finger on the pulse. Hashtag WEC Leeds 2019. Let us know where you're watching from, and we'll try and give you a shout out if we can. As Jane Meadows, once again a squib kick And it's picked up by number 40 for the Swedes, and she gets out close to the 45-yard line, which will mean that the Swedish ladies will start in very promising field position once again. Let's see whether or not they can complete their mission and find the end zone this time.
Yeah, that was Ellen Matilda Luke on the return on that one. We haven't called her name yet.
Once again, obviously, we're broadcasting from Leeds here this afternoon. We've apologies, and we will apologise if we mispronunciate any of the names out there on either side, to be honest. If we do, I'm sure you will let us know as Johansson hands this ball off, and this time it's given to number 22. Number 22, so Hedström and Ullen getting a little bit of a breather this time. Number 22 is... My eyesight's not that good, Carl.
Min Min Zhao. So the Swedes are going. They have more depth at that running back position than we've seen so far. We've only seen Hedström, but we have seen Zhao make one run, and that's her second of the day. And it's now become whether these often what you'll find is after a team scores like that, the offenses actually begin to gear up, and we might see some more scoring here, Matt.
So second down, nice straight ahead run again, breaks the first tackle, and she's hauled down by Schechter and by Rebecca Martin from the Hertfordshire Tornadoes.
So this now becomes, I think Sweden is saying, all right, well, let's see if we can control the ball. You wouldn't have expected them to, because the defensive line of the Lions is big, they're strong, they're well coached, and you would expect them to be dominant. They were in that first half. So we'll see whether they can stop this running game that Sweden are trying to impose on GB in this early drive.
So 3rd and 2 on the last possession. GB managed to stop 3rd and 2 after the Sweden timeout. Johansson has that same runner who receives the ball again, and she's going to get this easily, and she's gone past the 40 and she's through a gap, and Schechter's chasing her down, and she makes a diving tackle at the end. Otherwise that Swedish runner could have been gone even further, but as it is, she gets down to the Britain 25-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, they've made the decision here, haven't they? Look, they've got the up back in, they get a little bit of space there and good movement, and then 22's got the speeds out to get to that edge. Schechter's got so much speed to track her down from behind and get up top to make the tackle. Good job, Phoebe.
Johanna Henriksen, number 70, pulling from the offensive line position to create that running space and block out some daylight, actually, for the British defenders. But 1st and 10, Sweden marching again, taking a big chunk up there. 25 yards out, first down, 1:20 left in the 3rd period here in Leeds. And that one is going to be whistled dead. Flags all over the place, and that's generally going to be a false start or a delay of game. Here we go.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So both units guilty of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. After a big play and a momentum building play for the Swedes, they marched back 5 yards. 1st and 15 for Johansson and that offense.
Makes it trickier now for the Swedes.
Play action, and this time number 5 with the reception. Not called her name before at the minute. It's Sarah
Lidner.
Sarah Lidner. Here she goes again. Similar play, though, to what they managed to get Ullen free with. And, in fact, Ullen making the key block this time on Schechter before Schechter manages to fight her off and make the tackle.
Yeah, they like those little dump-off plays, and why not? They work, and they're kind of high percentage. You're not going downfield, but you are giving it to your athletes, and you hope that they can break it into space. End of the 3rd quarter already, Matt.
Wow. 25 past 8 here in Leeds. UK time. And it's 6 apiece in this IFAF Women's European Championship 2019 fixture between the Great Britain Lions and the Swedish Ladies American Football Team. On the tweets here we got Dan Hegarty, cracking watch so far, watching my sister coach Team GB in the Women's American Football European Championship. Let's go GB. Julie Hughes says shout out to number 64 Amy Cottingham, we're all proud of you and the rest of the team. Go girls, you can do this. Harry Grant says whole house watching the American football for the first time. Come on GB. So here we go then, 4th quarter action as the Brits show blitz, and there is Jane Meadows sniffing this one out for a pickup of maybe a yard or two, but her teammates congratulating her on that performance, and why not?
Yeah, nice play, and that's going to bring up this 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8 again. Ordinarily, the offense would be thinking, oh, it's a difficult down and distance to manage at this stage, particularly with scores tied and tensions getting high. But these Swedes just seem very calm in their approach, unflappable almost. Johansson once again with Lidner in the backfield. I'm sorry, not Lidner, number 22 once again. Johansson dropping back, looks to her right, got the play, in and out of the hands, and a one-hopper to Karen Ullen.
Yeah, they went for that same play again. They're trying to get it to number 5, Lidner, who, they've a couple of times she's escaped in the backfield. That time, I think it was Amanda Humphrey did a good job. Afia Law did a good job in keeping with Lidner and not letting her escape, and the ball was overthrown anyway. Nice job on 3rd down.
4th and 8, 23 yards out. Offense on the field at the moment, but now it looks like Sweden are going to call timeout and talk things over.
Do they have a kicker? This is what we don't know. What was the kicking like at the beginning, when they were warming up? That's what we want to see. So far, neither of these teams able to convert on the point after attempt. So
Sweden.
We're not sure whether the
first timeout.
The punter is Karen Ullen, and I think I saw her listed as the kicker as well. So we will see how that. Karen Ullen is also listed as the kicker, so she's already made an impact. Sweden are going to talk about that and give her the chance to make this long kick, or do you go for it on 4th and 8?
It is a long kick as well. Obviously, from the line of scrimmage, it's 33 yards away. Tack on another 7 or 8 from where the holder will be. You're talking a 40-yard field goal, and that's no mean feat. Realistically, in my mind, they're going to go for it here.
Brooke says, shout out to the Queen of Boston, Ruth Matter. We miss you and wish you and your other team the best of luck. I love your Renegades. That's from the Boston Renegades to Ruth Matter after that touchdown. But here we go. They are going to go for this kick. So we'll see what happens here.
Although the officials come in once again, and they're talking things over. Looks like there might be some sort of confusion amongst the officials. I don't know quite why. Phoebe Schechter doing a head count for her own special teams unit. I think they're probably discussing whether it is 4th down or not, but it definitely is. And what do I know, Carl? That will be looking at where the holder Johansson has her knee down. Yeah, let's have a listen.
Correction, the timeout taken was the 2nd timeout taken by Sweden.
There we go, confusion over the timeouts.
They weren't counting the downs, they were counting the timeouts.
Indeed. Like I say, look where Johansson is kneeling there. It's
again, watch the fake on this, Matt.
You're quite right. Johansson's happy to run. We know Karen Ullen can run. But let's see whether or not Alan it is going to put down. And she's put her foot through it, and it's just not got the distance. Not far away, maybe 4 or 5 yards short on that one. And that means that Britain hold strong, wide to the left as.
It was like one of those old-fashioned kicks from the 1960s, wasn't it? It was kind of straight and without much height on it, but it nearly got there. So Ullen showing that she can kick as well as run, but didn't manage to get the accuracy that she needed.
So as we mentioned earlier, this is game 2 of this IFAF Women's European Championship. Later this week we have 2 more fixtures on Wednesday when Finland take on Sweden at 3 o'clock, and then the 7 o'clock game is Great Britain against Austria, and then we culminate on Saturday with 3 o'clock Sweden taking on Austria, and 1900 hours GB time Great Britain will take on Finland in the final fixture of this competition. So another opportunity for Green, and there's Mata once again after that long touchdown run in the last series. She dances and dupes and tricks her way out to the sideline after picking up 5, maybe 6 yards. In fact, it'll bring up 2nd and 4.
Lots of tweets saying just give the ball to Ruth. Yes, Ruth, says Joe Kilby. Mata, best in the world, no doubt. Who do you turn to when it really matters, says double coverage number 21, Ruth Mata, 74 yards. So there's lots of support for this girl to see whether she can bring it home on this drive.
Nice to hear from Joe Kilby as well, Birmingham Lions alum, and obviously GB herself. Good to know that you're watching and tuning in as Sydney tries to switch things around. switches the full-back to one side, switches Mata over to her left, and this time she keeps the football, and oh dear me, that's not the best decision that she will ever make as Johanna Aspenberg. We mentioned her a number of times in the first half, and she makes her presence felt early in this fourth quarter.
When she gets beast mode on, I tell you, that's something to watch. So she's made 3 or 4 tackles in the backfield there, but she's just beat the girl in front of her and just got in there and made great plays.
So Sydney Green saw something she didn't like on that previous play and audibled onto the other side, but didn't see Aspenberg. And now on 3rd and 7 maybe, after that loss of 2, they give the ball back to Mata, and Mata finds that little gap, bounces, stops, and then is tripped up, in fact. And is she tripped up by her own player, or is that an intentional foot sticking out? Or is that just me being cynical?
I mean, it's close, isn't it? I don't think as a referee you could call that, because you get, the players on the ground, they've not come diving in as we've seen a couple of times this season. But yeah, unlucky for Ruth. Such quick feet, amazing to watch her run. She has tiny little gaps and makes just finds the daylight where other people just wouldn't have a clue. And
with the score tied as it is, and the importance of this one, Nancy Stone is sent on to try and give them breathing space for the Lions. So far, Stone has shanked her previous 2 punts, it must be said, and let's see if she runs off to her left as she handles. That's an awful snap, and she does well to handle it and does get a decent kick away this time. It takes a Sweden bounce and then stops dead right on the 50. So 6-6, ball on the 50, 9:02 left in the game 2 of this 2019 IFAF Women's European Championship here from the John Charles Centre for Sport in Leeds.
Lots of people tweeting in, supporting there. You can tweet us on hashtag WEC Leeds 2019. Lauren Thompson sends a lovely pic, says big sister watching little sis Amanda Humphrey playing for Team GB tonight, and Amanda plays linebacker with the kids staying up late to watch as well. Nice pic there. Anna Burke says cheering on Women's America football team. Libby Toussaint, number 58, is my second cousin. She's not been on yet, but they're still cheering.
So here we go, first down Sweden, high snap that Johansson manages to handle very, very nicely. And it's that number 22 again who is responsible for the workload, giving Hedstrom a bit of a breather. In fact, we've not called Hedstrom's name lately at all. But good defensive pressure, bringing up 2nd and 7.
They're betting on the defence of GB getting tired in this fourth quarter. That's what they're betting on, the Swedes. They're trying to run the ball down our throats, and we need to stay firm as a defensive line. But that'll open up play action, so we do need to be careful there. Now they've got this ball back in again on the left-hand side.
Absolutely, 2nd down, and this time Johansson keeps it. But that may not be the best decision. She's met by Schechter, and for all that Schechter loses in height, she makes up for in character, and she manages to hold on to Johansson long enough until a couple of her mates meet up with her, one of which was Delta and Pono from the Warriors.
Yeah, she's a tenacious tackler, Phoebe Schechter. She comes over and even though you've got a much bigger girl there, Linda Johansson, Phoebe holds her up, and then that gives a chance for other defenders to come in and try and rip that ball loose.
Pickup of 2 on 2nd down brings up 3rd and 6. And Britain will be wanting to try and get this Sweden offence off the field with 7:43 and counting to go in this fourth period.
Support from the Swedes coming in as well. Ellen Fransson says, so proud of the Swedish team and my Crusader ladies.
And that looks like being the 3rd and final timeout for the Swedes. Listen.
Timeout. Sweden. This is the 3rd and final timeout.
So it's interesting, their strategy of timeouts, isn't it? They've taken the timeouts very early in the half. It's going to leave them very little with 7.5 minutes left in this fourth quarter. So there's plenty of time left, and the Swedes are all out. That may come back to haunt them if the game stays tight and they need a 2-minute or a 4-minute drill to get into the end zone.
The worry that I have watching the British outfits, particularly on offence, is that they are very one-dimensional at the minute. It is, as we've joked and as some of the Twitter followers have mentioned, it's sort of kind of just give the ball to Mata. Whereas you look at Sweden and they've used Hedstrom, they've used Johansson, they've used Lindner. They've used, obviously, Karen Ullen. They've got a variety of playmakers that they can feel comfortable getting the ball to. And at the moment, other than Ruth Mata, that seems to be the offence. Says, this one, it's a reverse, and they just managed to get the reverse off. And the cameraman, unfortunately, has missed that one, but that's a hold there on the edge, surely. As she trundles down the sideline, she's pushed out at the 10, but I'm looking to see if we can see any flags, but I definitely saw a hold on the sideline there. But having said that, there don't appear to be any flags whatsoever, and that one appears to be a good play. Let's have a look again.
Yeah, you'll see Rachel Moody bust through here and think, I've got it, but that handoff just gets away, and everyone freezes because they think Rachel's made the tackle, and off goes the runner, number 82. There is a hold there on the edge, but it's not called, and that is a disastrous play for GB Lions. What could have been a really good tackle in the backfield turns into a huge game for the Swedes.
We call this a game of inches, and the Brits' defence there were just inches away from calling that one dead in the backfield, and this one is stopped just in the backfield. Maybe manages to fall forward for positive yardage, and that's number 48 for the Brits.
That's Robin Stewart, who's involved in a lot of work at GB.
So here we go, 2nd and 9 upcoming for the Swedes, and this is now really dangerous. That clock continues to run. Britain now only 9 yards away from their own end zone, trying to protect that goal line from this surging Swedish attack. Johansson in the backfield once again, and this time it looks like the ball is going to be handed off. It's not, it's play action, and she looks out to the flat, and that's in and out of the hands of Lindner. To be fair, that wasn't the best pass, and now there's a late flag coming in.
GB were lucky there because that number 5 was wide open. If you watch this play, the pressure comes. Moody decides to come on the pressure, and 5 just slots out, and then the flag comes in. So we'll see what this flag is.
So they're just discussing where that's going to come from. Let's have a listen.
There's no foul on the play for illegal block in the back. The play didn't have any impact on the play. Incomplete pass, 3rd down.
So there was an illegal block in the back, but due to the fact that it was an incomplete pass, it means that therefore there was no impact of their block in the back, and therefore the flag is waved off.
GB working really, really hard now to defend this goal line. We've seen some good tackles going in already. I mean, other than that long reverse play that they just managed to get off, these Lions are really playing tenaciously and fighting for this win. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down.
So 3rd and 9, Johansson in the offense, and Hedstrom back in the backfield. And it was a screen play again, and another flag comes in late, and surely that play has got to be some sort of illegal block against the offense due to the fact that they were trying to set up that screen.
Or an ineligible receiver downfield, maybe. I mean, I think that was a perfect play call by the Swedes. They just couldn't execute it. But, you saw the blitz coming off the edge there, and it did leave us slightly vulnerable at the back, but incomplete in the end.
So, yeah, here we go then. There's long discussion taking place over on that far sideline. 6-6 here. And close to 5 minutes left in this 4th period of game 2 here in Leeds.
Josh Amos says, sorry, got tweets coming in, Matt.
No
Josh
worries.
Amos says...
There's no foul on the play for DPI by the defense. Because the pass didn't cross the neutral zone, it'll be 4th down.
So once again, another flag waved off due to the fact that there was an incomplete pass. So that will be 4th down. Go ahead, Cole.
Come on, GB, says Josh Amos, and especially my little sister at Hattie Kitty 14. Let's finish strong. Lots of tweets coming in here now from you guys, so do keep them coming.
So here we go then. Field goal time. She will look like she was going to get it on that last one, and this time it's up. Is it straight enough? It is looking like it is good. And the touchdown scorer adds 3 more points to her total personal tally and adds 3 more points to her country's tally to take the score to GB 6, Sweden 9, with 6 minutes and change remaining in this 4th quarter.
But it was Sarah Lindner, wasn't it, on that reverse where Moody looked to make the tackle, and then Lindner got the ball, just got it handed off to her in time, and like you said, Matt, game of inches, manages to find the edge, and that was enough to give Ulna the chance to kick it for this lead late in the game. But GB need to be proud of that stand that they made in their own 10-yard line. Some good tackles going in there from Amanda Humphreys, from Robin Stewart, from Rebecca Martin. There was lots of good tackling and defending going on.
So what do the Lions have outside of Ruth Matter? Because this Swedish team now got to be keen on Ruth. You would be if you were that defensive coordinator. Let's see whether or not initially we can get a great run back, and And that is fielded off her shoelaces that time. That's really well fielded by number 37. That's Josephine White from the Oxford Saints. And to take that ball on the run like that as low as she did is no mean feat of skill.
Yeah, she got a chance and she took it. That was an excellent reception, and it means if you catch it like that, you've got that momentum, and it takes them all the way up to the 45-yard line. So that's good field position to start this absolutely critical drive now in this opening game of this championship.
And this is it, 4:55 left. You've got to be thinking, if you can't end up scoring here, you're not going to get many more opportunities, if any at all, because Sweden will just run that clock down. So let's see what Sydney Green and that offense can muster here. The one and only Ruth Matter to her right, and it is Ruth who gets the initial carry. She's going sideways to begin with, now turns upfield, and those strong legs of hers managed to power up to a gain of 4. In fact, they're going to give her 3 instead of where she fell down. So 2nd and 7, clock running.
She's so dangerous. You still get the sense that there's more running in her. You know, when she's still got energy, she's still coming hard at them, and that offensive line now just needs to give her just even the slightest glimpse. She'll make it work.
So 2nd and 7, Green and the offense. Low snap again, that's been a key all evening, but it doesn't matter to Ruth Matter. Just put that ball in that breadbasket and she will make things happen. You know this is 4 down territory now for GB, even though that brings up now 3rd and 5. Maybe it's 3rd and a long 4, actually, looking at where that ball is spotted, but we'll go with our scoreboard operator. 3rd and 5 it is.
Sarah Lidner making the tackle on that one, playing both ways, number 5 for Sweden, so playing as running back, playing as linebacker, so she's made a big impact tonight.
And once again, it's matter or nothing. For the Brits, it really does matter. Another awful snap, and Matter reverses field, and she's got 1st down yardage. Holds onto that ball. She's so strong, very low centre of gravity. Manages to pick up 1st down yardage.
You can see Johanna Aspenberg, number 95, recall her name, just hanging on to Matter off the back of her shirt there to prevent further yards. Both of these teams now playing out of their skin to try and win this one.
Phoebe Schechter on offense as well. You can see her going up to the slot on the top of your screen now. So all the cards being played at the moment by Coach Messenger. But once again, it's hard to see any way of other than Matter getting the ball. And here she goes again, cuts it back. She's got a little bit of daylight. She stays on her feet up to the 37-yard line of the Swedes. And that's going to bring up 2nd and 3.
So that is the game plan, give it to Matter, and you can watch the Swedes crowding the line of scrimmage now, 5, 6 players on that line of scrimmage to try and stop this surging runs from Matter. Now they're playing backed off slightly.
I say it may well be that you know what's coming, but can you stop it? And that time they can. That's a great defensive play by number 55 for the Swedes. And that is offensive lineman playing on defense as well. That's Ellen Thimfors. Well sniffed out now.
Yeah, and you're going to have some of those plays. It's not all the time that you're going to get the blocks. If they're crowding the line of scrimmage like that, they will find some seams. So let's see if we can get the block on this down. Crucial down.
3rd and 5. Low snap again, but here comes Matter. She bounced out. Has she got the speed? She has. Oh, it's a great block. Great tackle, rather. And she's going to be short of the 1st down, and this is the ball game. That was a great play there by number 2 for the Swedes. That's Svensson Darrick.
Caroline Matilda Svensson Dirk is what we've got listed here.
It's a 2-minute warning. We have 1 minute 56 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
So I think that was a timeout called there by 2-minute warning. My mistake, looking at the clock, looking at the field rather than the clock, but that is a 2-minute warning. So that does stop the clock at least. Britain still with those 3 timeouts. And this is now 4th down and very short. In fact, it's 4th down and 2 from where that down marker is located, and this right here is the ball game. Let's see who wants this more right now. You've got to think Matter's going to get this football. No, in the hands and out of the hands, and that's gone up top, and that's caught by Schechter, and Schechter catches it behind the secondary. Those linebackers, the safeties, assumed that Matter was going to get this on short yardage, and Sydney Green manages to just loft the ball over the top, and Schechter's there waiting.
What a gutsy call on 4th down, Matt. I mean, you know, everyone's looking at Ruth Matter. What do? You give it to your best player? No. They play action off the back of that, and they throw it to a linebacker, albeit a very good and athletic linebacker, Phoebe Schechter, but a great play call if it worked, and it did.
So now That means the Swedes are now thinking, oh hello, we can't just key on Mata, although they need to on this player. She bounces back to the right, and she tries to use that speed to get around the edge, and she does get around the edge, and that could be a horse collar tackle. But there's nothing thrown again. That looks suspiciously like an illegal tackle to me, Cole.
I thought she had the shirt there. If you watch, she comes around the back, she's hanging off a shirt, and Ruth is so quick that lots of Swedish players are just trying to hang off the shirt, and that's what she does here. Does it, and even then she's still on her feet, Ruth. Good running, tough running, 1:35 left. We're close to this end zone.
We are close to the end zone, but we're not quite there. We're 9 yards away from the end zone. But what a drive this has been so far in response to that Karen Ullen field goal with 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. We're now down to 1 minute 37, 9-6 to Sweden. And this time Johansson looks across the middle, and oh my goodness, intended receiver was Siobhan Walker, and that was just nowhere near. It didn't give Siobhan any chance of catching that one.
Yeah, it just lofted, didn't it? I mean, these are the big moments that these players have been dreaming of. You know, Greener will be dreaming of throwing that winning touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go in the half. You know, when you're 3 points down, they'll all be dreaming of this moment. Who's going to step up and make this a special moment for GB? Let's find out.
So third down. Apologies there. I just sat on something sharp in that last play. That's apologies for the commentary. As here comes Mata, and they're giving it to Mata if they can, and she's snuffed out at the 10-yard line for a loss on the play. And here it is.
Great defending there from the Swedes. They're not going to give it up easy, and that's why we play the game, because these two teams are really going at it tooth and nail. That was a lovely tackle, I think, by number 44. Let's see if she comes in and just, yeah, right in the gap that she needed to be in.
So, timeout called by the Brits. 4th down and 5. This is how you want these games to be.
Timeout.
Fair play. Fair play to Finland.
First time
Fair play to Sweden in terms of the...
Sorry, I know what I was saying. Sorry, Carl.
Yeah.
Fair play to Finland putting all the points they did earlier on Austria.
Yes.
But these are the games that, you know, these are the ones that keep you on the edge of your seat. And when you don't know what's going to happen with 1:13 left, it comes down to this. And whose player on player can execute better on this last play.
Yeah, and we don't know how Finland's going to match up against either one of these outfits at the moment. You put a 50 burger up doesn't mean anything early on in the tournament. These teams will improve as they go through. But yeah, if you're a neutral and you're watching now, then I'm sure you're enjoying this one. This is a fantastic advert for IFAF and the European Championship and ladies football. It's been extremely high quality, and whatever happens on this down, both of these teams deserve to win. They've played magnificently throughout.
So, Mata in the backfield, Schechter lined up in the slot to the left of your screen. Sydney Green's heart must be pounding. Let's see. Oh, it's an awful snap, and this time it's Green, and she's got space at the middle, and she's got a first down. She's to the 1 yard line. What another gutsy play. Everybody keen on Mata. Schechter in there. Look at the snap.
I know, terrible snap, but she picks it up and she's smart enough, and she says, all right, I'm going to go over the top.
Look where that football is.
I know, 1 yard line with less than a minute left.
Can we see that again at all, producer Steve? Because what I'm more worried about is her going into traffic with the football like a loaf of bread. Look at this. Right hand. Here she comes.
Second time
and she's going, and it's just waiting to come out, but she manages to secure it down to the 1 yard line. 50 seconds left. First and goal from the 1.
And Green's made that magic happen. So that's one of those plays we look back on and say, look, there's part of the magic of that drive was that play. Yeah. 4th down, got to make it happen. Low snap, picks it up, and does everything she can to get there.
But to be fair to her, that's 2 4th downs this time where Coach Messenger has asked Sydney Green to take responsibility. The pass to Schechter earlier on in the drive, and now that one relying on her legs and her athletic ability and her just gutsiness to make things happen.
You're absolutely right now. We've got Shannon Kennedy who's tweeted in saying it's nail-biting stuff right now between GV versus Sweden. Lots of you watching and enjoying this fantastic game between these two great outfits, and it's still not decided.
Now, 51 seconds. I know this is me being a little bit sort of Madden-esque, but do you want to score on first down here? Do you want to give them that sort of time, Sweden, with that quick strike ability they've shown? You know, it's a difficult one. Yes, of course you want to score, but let's see. Oh, they're not going to score on this one. That one sniffed out. That looked far too complicated to me with the motion and various bits and bobs as Great Britain take their final timeout. And now it's 2nd down and goal.
Timeout.
So we got the downs, we just don't
Great
have the
Britain.
time.
This is the 3rd and final timeout.
So there we go. You're right. Sorry, Carl. The referee was.
No, quite right. Well, we want to hear from the referee in these moments.
Yeah, time's not an issue, really.
Time's not an issue. Well, time is the issue because we've got the downs. We've got 3 downs to get in. You've got second, third, and fourth. You can get in. You can make 5 yards on that down, but you are running out of time now. So the question becomes, what do you do? Do you try and go to the end zone early, or do you give it to Ruth and just try and get lined up quickly and then go for it again if you don't get it? But these are the decisions that Jim Messenger's been making for a very long time. He's a very seasoned coach. He's won all sorts of championships. He's now enjoying his time with the Great Britain ladies. They have a huge amount of respect for him, as he does for them, and I'm sure he will be confident of the call he's made right here.
I try and keep it simple. That one looked a little bit overcomplicated for me, trying a bit slow to develop, and it gave the Swedes opportunity to penetrate into the backfield and sniff that one out. But now look in the backfield, we've got number 26 in the backfield. We've got Antoinette Morgan, who we haven't heard from since right at the beginning of the game. Schechter out, and you might expect that Antoinette's going to be in there to block, and this time Phoebe's looking, and she's still looking. Not sorry, Phoebe. She's picked it, and that's an interception. What a disaster for the Brits, and that is picked by the Swedes, and that one will be done. Wow.
Yeah, they betted on the fact that they could go play action and then roll out. If you watch the play, they're going to have all the receivers coming over to the right-hand side. Phoebe Schechter is wide open in the end zone, and Carolyn can't see it, and as a result, number 2, Caroline Svensson, makes the play for Sweden, and that is going to be the death knell to this opener for Great Britain, as Sweden will just kneel this one out.
But what an opening game. Heartbreak for the Brits, elation for the Swedes. No timeouts left for either team. It's 9-6, and there goes the football held high into the air. The celebration by the Swedes onto the field to hug their compatriots. You can see the dejection from the Brits marching down, but take nothing away from the Swedes. That was a hard-fought win, Cole.
They played excellently. They deserve the win. I said at that point in the game, either one of these teams would deserve to win because they both played brilliantly. We saw that timeout as GB took that timeout and Jim Messenger was getting that play call in. We saw the Swedes huddled on the sideline, didn't we, up there? Their coaches talking to them. They were thinking about the plays that GB might run. And that rollout to the right, they had the right player there, Caroline Svensson, at the right time, and she was just there to make the play. They also got good pressure on that down. And it comes down to those moments. It was such a good play that Sydney Green had made on the 4th down to convert and get to the 1 yard line, so close to getting in, and then Sweden come up with the big play when they needed to turn it round and to defend their goal line. What a game, that was fantastic.
Incredible. You've got to look back now. Obviously the coaches will analyse the tape between now and Wednesday, and then again on to Saturday, and for me, as much as it's not something that directly affects the game, I think the centre quarterback exchange, the low snaps that Sydney Green had to deal with all night long, obviously are going to make an impact on the fact that she's got to get her eyes down and then back up to assess what's going on with that Swedish defence, which again, that split second is vital in such an environment like this.
Yeah, absolutely, and these teams will get better as they go through the tournament. They only get a day's rest and then they're back playing again on Wednesday, both of these teams, and GB will take all sorts of learning from this, and they'll be happy to apply that in their next game. So yeah, disappointment, but the tweets are coming in for Sweden now. Mick Nielsen says how sweet it is that Sweden got the win. Jacob Yardcord. I can't even read that, it's in Swedish, but you can.
He's probably celebrating. I'm sure he's celebrating.
Lots of people celebrating the Swedish win. Lots of people saying, wasn't the commentary biased? Yeah, it is, unfortunately. But we have enjoyed the Swedes playing this game tonight. You've been fantastic. If you're from Sweden, congratulations on your win. Now, the way they line up on this is interesting, Matt, in the first game, because this is where they select the MVPs.
That's correct, absolutely. So we will wait and hear on who those are, if we're able to do that.
Number 84, Karen Ullen. And the GB MVP, as selected by the Swedish coaching staff, is number 21, Ruth Massa.
So rather unsurprising there on the selection there of Karen Ullen and Ruth Matter. I think they were by a long shot the standout players from both outfits this evening, Cole.
Yeah, look at those two there. Just played their hearts out and were both of them fantastic, and it could have gone either way. Came right down to the last seconds, came right down to the last play, and Sweden did enough on that interception to take the win. But hats off to Ullen and to Mata. Fantastic displays from both of them, including that great kick of 3 points to give Sweden the win.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show that you don't need hundreds of points to make a game exciting, to make to give a good advert for the sport. Obviously Great Britain will go, they'll lick the wounds, they'll bounce back, ready for Wednesday when their next opponents are Austria, and the Swedes will face up to the high-flying Finns on Wednesday, and then Saturday Sweden will face Austria, with Great Britain taking on Finland. And even though it's game one and Britain face an uphill battle now to top that table, anything's possible. We don't really know the strength of Austria, in terms of how they were against Finland. It may well be that Finland and Austria are the two stronger teams in this competition, and Sweden and Great Britain are going to struggle, or it could well be the other way around, and Austria maybe aren't quite ready for this level, and Finland have just been made to look good today. But things will become a little clearer on Wednesday when the fixtures restart once again. Just to remind you, 3 o'clock kickoff is Finland versus Sweden. 7 o'clock kickoff will be Great Britain against Austria. We will bring you those games live here from Onside Productions. We'll be up in Leeds once again, and then the competition rounds off on Saturday with a 3 o'clock fixture between Sweden and Austria, and the 7 o'clock offering is the Great Britain Lions versus Finland, and that will then conclude this year's competition, the IFAF Women's European Championship of 2019. Final thoughts, Carl, really, on tonight's game. If you're, again, a coach, what are you saying right now? What's Jim Messenger saying right now in that huddle?
He's picking them up and he's saying, look, you played your hearts out, you were excellent, you've done yourselves proud, and we've got business to do. We've got a couple more games in this tournament that we need to come out and win, and that's where we are. And if you're Sweden, you're saying congratulations, let's move on to the next game. But so disappointed for the GB Lions, but Sweden have showed that they're a force to be reckoned with in this competition. They've come in the opener and they've beat the home team, and that is no easy feat to do against the GB squad that was very well prepared. And so congratulations to Sweden on that. We'll see how the rest of this tournament pans out, but given the quality of this game today and the quality of the game we had earlier, really enjoyed the football. Been a very high quality, and it's just a great tournament, and great to be sat here doing it with you, Matt.
Absolutely, always a pleasure to share this commentary booth with you, Con. There's lots of people who bring this sort of broadcast to you, and we'll come to them shortly. But as you say, the quality of the women's game has really come on since we did the Spain-Great Britain game a couple of years back down in Worcester. This has really ended up being a great advert for the game. But we will leave you this evening with our final score of Sweden 9 and Great Britain 6. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to producer Steve and Tom, our cameraman who did a fantastic job as ever, Alex, and our scoreboard operator, Adi, who is with us here in the booth. Carl, as you say, always a pleasure. I look forward to working with you again on Wednesday, and we will look forward to welcoming all you guys back to join us for round 2 of the IFAF Women's European Championship 2019. Join us again on Wednesday from 3 o'clock for second round action. Good night from Leeds.